with y'all, family? You guys already know we are finally back. Were you a king or a queen in your past life? As you guys know, your past life as the chosen one is very important. Who you were is the root. It tells you what can happen in the future. All right. To know the future, you have to know the past. So, there is certain birthdays to know if you were a king or a queen in your past life. All right. King and queens have certain qualities that we're going to go into in this video. All right, so you guys do want more of these, like, comment, subscribe. It's only 7 o'clock where I'm at in the rising. I'm up early, took a cold shower. I'm like, all right, let's get it. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the people who do resonate with this type of content, archetype content. You guys do know, if there's one thing I like to teach you, I like to teach you about yourself. I like to teach you about your archetype. So I love you guys. I know some people, they're not ready for this stuff. I think some people who just not ready to learn about themselves, and that's okay. I still love everybody because in my heart. All right, let's get it. Okay, so first thing I want to start off, family, to start saying that kings and queens have a very high value. If you are a king or queen, you have a very high value. You have a high self-worth about yourself. You see your worth, you see your value. You don't settle for less. That is king or queen energy, all right? On the right side, you guys can see, this is like kind of like, we're going to be going on Cartomancy. So this is Cartomancy is going to be how we're going to find out if you was a king or a queen in your past life. But we're going to also break it down with just regular, practical observations as well. All right, so King of Clubs, King of Diamonds, King of Spades, King of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds. You got the Jacks also is part of the royal class. The Jacks is like the younger royal class though. Okay, so King and Queens both have a high value about themselves, and because of this value, they attract a lot of spiritual thieves who want to steal their spiritual energy. In this matrix, wealth isn't just money. Wealth is your presence. So if you are a king or queen, you have to protect your energy. All right. So if you are a king or queen, you have to protect your energy. Money isn't the only form of currency in this matrix. So another form of currency is your energy, is your presence. So this is why you see like broke men still pull women, because they themselves, they are the money. You know what I'm saying? Young people come on camera and they are the money. They don't have to have $1 million, you know what I'm saying, to be wealthy or to be worthy. You are worthy just by your presence, depending on who you are. You feel me? That's just why some of you guys, probably don't have that much money, but people want to work with y'all. People want to, that's your energy, your royalty. You have that nice royalty class. You feel me? So understand the power of having a royal class and the responsibility that it comes with. It comes with a lot of responsibility, family. All right. There are spiritual thieves, just like thieves want to steal energy. I mean, thieves want to steal money. Some people want to steal energy. They want to get your reaction. That's all they want to do, All right, so introduction to Cartomancy. So Cartomancy is a divination system like astrology and numerology that allows you to have a birth card based on when you were born. It gives more accuracy to your reality in your past life. All right, so Cartomancy, you got to find what day you were born, and that will tell you about, your card, your birth card. All right, so you're born in January. Let's say you're born on the 9th, you will be this card right here. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you're born on June 4th, you will be a King of Diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you're born on July 13th, you will be a Two of Diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you're born on December 20th, you'll be a Jack of Hearts. So this is used by our ancestors, and this was they switched the cards, the playing cards, and they made us play with the cards for entertainment. But we actually used to use it as a form of divination. And honestly, this is like astrology, but it's a lot more funner. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go deep in depth and why did they take it away from us? Why? That's the question. Why? The more curious you are on this spiritual journey, the more powerful you will become. All right. So you just ask questions, ask a billion questions, ask questions all the time. This is also how you find your planetary ruling card. It's like how you have like a rising sign and a moon sign. You also got like certain cards for that too. So we're gonna take a zoom at this real quick, family, before we keep moving forward. All right, let's say you're born on June, so you're born on June 16th, you'll be an Ace of Diamonds and a Queen of Diamonds, you know what I'm saying? And the Queen of Diamonds would be, let me see something real quick. Okay, so the second card will be a planetary ruling card. The fourth card is your birth card. So right now we're gonna focus on our birth card right now, family. Your birth card is more important. Let's keep moving forward. All right, so a real Jack of Hearts. So Rashad Jamal, also known as Divine Insight, he's a Jack of Hearts. All right, he was born on November 22nd. You guys can see he is a Jack of Hearts. November 22nd. Okay. See, November 22nd, Jack of Hearts. All right. So, let's break it down because I wanna see if you guys help you guys resonate with this, what I'm saying, see the accuracy of it. All right. So it represents a news from a messenger. This is the description of a Jack of Hearts. It can be either positive news or negative news. It depicts a sweet young man. And when they say young, they're talking about the energy, like not necessarily like the person, but the actual soul. It depicts a sweet young man who likes to be pleased, but sometimes he knows to be distant. A man that always finds himself falling in love. Usually a young man who has not found himself yet. He can't be trusted, but he is prone to make mistakes that he is capable of fixing. All right, so it's very important to understand. To me, y'all gotta do it. To me, it sounds accurate. You feel me? I feel like he's a messenger. You know what I'm saying? He is somebody who brings either the positive news or the bad news. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you guys the actual descriptions to show you the character personalities of these divine, people. Now, Jack of Hearts, this is a deeper description. As one of the three immovable fixed cards in the master scripts, this one-eyed Jack of Hearts can be somewhat fixed in their nature. Fixed means like, they're like set in their ways and their nature and personality. Dependable and noble, which I do feel like he has at his core. Their life task is one of service through love. Naturally generous with their time and energy, they are drawn towards philanthropy and social causes, which he very much is. They must be careful as they often overgive to the point of depletion in an effort to be someone's savior. You feel me? So, like, y'all feel me? Listen, do I really gotta show y'all more? Do I gotta show y'all more? Am I showing y'all too much? You feel me? Do I gotta show y'all more? You just read it right there, okay? So, you know what I'm saying? I was told that Cartomancy is more accurate than astrology by some mentors, and you know what I'm saying? So I've always kind of known this once I started studying it a few years ago, but it's really accurate for me, so. All right, so let's break y'all down. So you were, make sure you go back to the here and make sure you check your card. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you check. Pause this video real quick, double check before we go forward. Okay, double check. Okay, so if you are a king of clubs, you have the Aries energy. You're the leader. If you are a king of diamonds, this is my birth card. You have Taurus energy. You're the provider. You're money material. You're more like you have more like that earth element. This is like the earth energy. Earth signs are more like they're more about like earth element, like practical providers. If you're a king of spades, you have the Gemini energy, the judge, the communicator. If you are king of hearts, you have the Cancer energy, siblings and short journey. If you are a queen of diamonds, you have the Virgo energy, supporter, help, work, pets. If you are a queen of spades, you have the Libra energy, the warrior, marriage, relationships. If you are a queen of clubs, you have the Leo energy, love, children, and creativity. If you are Jack of clubs, you have the Sagittarius energy, adventure, dreams, and spiritual growth. If you are Jack of diamonds, you have the Capricorn energy, gambler, career, ambition. If you are Jack of spades, you have the Aquarius energy, troublemaker, friends, and open enemies. If you are Jack of hearts, you have the Pisces energy, lovers, karma, transformation. All right, so this is very, very important to understand and study, family. All right, so the king queen birthdays is allegorically symbolic. I've used it myself to learn that every king and queen I have met has had a past life of royalty, along with research to finalize that if you are a queen or queen, you was this in your past life, all right? So I've done a lot of research, I've done a lot of experimentation with people I've known, and I confirmed that their past lives was of royalty, and these people were a king or queen or a jack and Cartomancy. So this is no joke, family. This is real accurate. All right, if someone is a king of spades, all right, this is a general meaning. If someone is a king of Cartomancy, this strongly suggests that they were a king, leader, or master figure in a past life. Okay, so you were definitely some type of high ranking in your past life, whether you have a king or queen or jack. Okay, so you see Rashad Jamal, he was a jack. He's a jack, so he definitely was a higher ranking in his past life. Some people believe he was just sound levatory. Some people believe that he was this, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? It all adds up. So we ain't gonna say too much about it, family. So the king of spades, the king of kings, all right? So this is just generally about the king of spades, all right? Cartomancy was hidden from you. Everything about our tools was mocked, played with, altered, rewritten, humored, and washed. Our ancestors did cartomancy, astrology, divination, and every powerful practice. All right, so Christians, a lot of Christians, I even talk to I be on the phone with Christians sometimes, and I talk to them, and I'm like trying to understand what they're trying to say. They'll tell me that, oh, you're going into the unknown, you don't know what you're doing, la 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 la. The Bible says don't do that. Of course, I don't go by the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The Bible does have some truth to it. It has some allegorical meanings, but at the same time, you can't really that's like me seeing a book and I was programmed to believe the book was bad, so I'm never going to open it. A lot of Christians, their consciousness is limited. They hit a cap and they just stop there. So they are smart. I'm not gonna say Christians dumb. Christians, they can, got scholars or whatever. They can be very intelligent, but they hit a cap. They can love, yes. They can have their heart open, yes. They can be a good person, but their consciousness, since the Bible trains them to not go beyond. Because when you go beyond, you literally understand that there's no limit. There's no limit. You ain't supposed to stop learning. Christians kind of hit like a limit where they like, okay, the Bible says don't go outside. So they kind of stop learning and they hit a cap. They don't expand, basically. Christians are not expansive. They're just stuck in a box. You know what I'm saying? They could be good people. And I don't really look at, let's say, the religion, because somebody can have a good heart without being a Christian, and somebody could be a Christian with a bad heart. So it's like, you don't got to be Christian to be a good person, family. It's time to wake up. You don't need to talk about Jesus all day to prove that you're a good person. You're probably still doing bad things at home, so you can't fool me, all right? So this is why they tried to make us play instead of learn, okay? So cartomancy, we used to actually learn with these cards. They knew the cards were powerful tools of self-knowledge, so instead of burning them or banning them outright, like they did with sacred text, they masked them. They turned a tool of liberation into a game of distraction. Here's how it happened. Cartomancy came from ancient mystery schools, including Egyptian, Persian, and African traditions. Over time, empires and religions saw how the cards revealed divine truth and the individual power. They couldn't let the masses know their karmic power or divine path, so they labeled it witchcraft or superstition, rebranded it into poker, blackjack, and solitaire, and hid the meanings behind kings, queens, jacks, and numbers. Okay, so now people pass sacred codes down through generations and only play games with them. Okay, so that's very important to understand. We used to actually use divination as this. We used to learn about ourselves through these cards, but now they're used as playing cards to play with us. They washed it up. They washed it. All right, it's washed now. But we're here to activate it and reactivate it. You were never meant to gamble with the cards. You were meant to awaken with them. Okay. They have been mocking and making you forget who you are since birth. All right. So just like X has said, he said memory is powerful. All right. Your memory is very powerful because once you remember who you you become more activated as a being, and as a, you gotta take back your sovereignty. You gotta ground in your truth. When I learned about who I was, I just grounded in my truth. It took a while before even saying about it, but I had to ground in it. So when you learn something, don't take your time with grounding in that truth. When you learn information, grounding it. When how you grounding it, take your time. Like process it over a few months. You know what I'm saying? He said that because your memory is tied to certain DNA molecules that activates your mind and your ancestral power and past life authority. All right. So if you have past life authority, if you was a high ranking in past life, they're gonna try to make you forget things. You know what I'm saying, by playing with the cards, playing with your ancestors' divination systems. We as people, we're coming back to getting into systems that, you know, made us original beings and sovereign beings, and we're learning to stand in our truth. We're no longer, you know, staying just by one book of the Bible and starting to, you know, stay stuck in certain scriptures and this and that. Because, you know, like I said, the Bible doesn't, like I'll say this, like I never said this before, but the Bible doesn't really get software updates. It just stays the same. So it's like the Bible, yeah, I really feel like the Bible has truth to it. Of course, it's allegorical, but there is some truth to it. But it is, like I said, they're never going to update. We got to update our minds and keep updating. I'm about updating. I'm not about staying in a box and staying in a book that, you know, was written. Apparently, like all religions kind of came out of nowhere. So we ain't going to go that far, apparently. So we got to understand, let's reactivate ourselves by understanding our memory. The memory, when you open your memory up, you're opening up certain DNA inside of you that is connected to your ancestors and also connected to even your past life. Okay, so your DNA, everything's in your DNA. This is why you need to cleanse your DNA by taking cat's claw. Cleanse your DNA by taking certain things like cloves and making sure you're drinking lots of water, getting in the sun. Okay, you need to get in the sun, take some cat's claw, drink a lot of water, and it's going to cleanse your DNA. I know some of you guys are real kings and queens. I know. I just know. I can feel it. All this video, I can feel the presence of you guys. All right, so once you remember who you are, just like Neo did, he was able to break the matrix. Some of you guys are not just a regular man or woman, and this is why I am here, to help you remember who you are and your archetype. All right, like I said, you guys see me make hundreds of astrology videos, you know, hundreds of numerology videos. I'm really just an archetype person. I'm here to help you learn who you are. I don't care about what nobody says about me. I'm just here to help you who you are. Some people be like, oh, you know, it's astrology, you know, that's a form of making people go back to sleep, and, you know, it's fake. And, you know, listen, man, if you want to believe that, you believe that. Do believe whatever is going to make you feel comfortable. You know what I mean? There's proof astrology was always used. There's proof astrology is real. There's proof these things are literally like always been real. You feel me? So, you know, we're in a time, we're in the age of Aquarius where the truth now, everybody getting into astrology. But they know they don't gotta, you don't gotta prove to somebody no more. Just do it and move on. You feel me? Another way to know if you are royalty, you never ever get jealous because you have your own light, but you attract jealousy. All right, so it's a big thing. If you're royalty, you're gonna have a lot of jealous haters, a lot of jealousy. Like I said, family, it's always how you react. You know, they're not really, you can't stop the outcome, but you can stop your reaction. You can stop if you react. That's the main thing. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be jealousy, but how do you react? How? The reaction is the number one thing with anything. Your reaction. You are him. You are her. That's why they doing that, bro. And you can't stop what they do. It's impossible. You know what I mean? But it's how you react. Find your birth card. All right, this is another screen. Just want to help you guys find your birth card. Double check. You know what I'm saying? Hope you guys found it by now. If you are any royalty, shout out to you. Feel me? Shout out to you. You feel me? Hey. Kings have good hearts. They are noble, discerning, and wise. All right. So look at Osiris. He was a real king, not a fake king, family. He's a real king. He was somebody who represented discernment and fairness. They are good with people, have high social IQ, and are good judges. All right. So Osiris was a very good judge. A king is someone who's a good judge. They're not really like super egotistical and they put on their chest like, oh my God. Like they don't really do those things because they're very noble. Noble people are very like honorable. You can look at them and like love them. They're good with people. They have compassion. That's a real king, not like like being like set. His brother was not a real king. He was like a thief. You feel me? Yeah, he was powerful, but he was a thief. You know what I'm saying? You don't. If someone who's jealous is not a king. And Cartomancy, kings and queens often represent spiritually evolved souls. So a lot of kings and queens, you guys have ancient souls. You guys had to earn this ranking. You guys had to go through a lot of betrayal, a lot of failure. Um, they represent maturity of the soul, which means they've lived through lessons of the numbers 2 through 10. They master their element, emotion, mind, value, or spirit. They gain wisdom through karma, not just through ideas. All right, so this means they act from experience, not impulse. They've already suffered heartbreak, seen betrayal, and endured spiritual testing. So when they reach the royal court, they now carry compassion, patience, and visions. The marks of someone who has already lived many lives. Okay, so like I said, they've lived a lot of lives. A lot of kings and queens, a lot of you guys kings and queens, you guys didn't just get this ranking. You had to earn it. You had to like be in the. You had to be in situations where people were attacking you, and you had to stay righteous. You had to stay righteous. That's how you earned it. You had to stay righteous through adversity. A lot of people, if you go through adversity and you're too vengeful, it can cause you to go down, or it can cause the universe to go against you. So don't be too vengeful. Don't be too vindictive. Don't be too, on revenge, because revenge is it's like a trap. You know what I'm saying? So understand, a king is noticed by his honor. He's noticed that he won't be so revengeful like Osiris was. All right. All right. So real kings make good examples in chaos. They don't have a normal reaction. Okay. So good hearts, emotional integrity, leadership. All right. So that's very important. Kings are not just powerful. They are meant to be wise and just. A king in alignment rules with honor, not ego. Okay? Honor, not ego. That's very important. Okay? They carry ancestral energy. Kings and queens. Oh, my bad, family. They carry ancestral energy. Kings and queens often represent ancestors, spiritual guides, or even past life versions of yourself from powerful lifetimes. They remind you of the nobility in your soul, even if they're still remembering it. Okay? So, like I said, they make good examples. That's Neo. Osiris was a king and a god. People with royalty have the highest amounts of wisdom and experience, okay? So Osiris was known as the judge of the dead, but his discernment wasn't just about punishment. It was about weighing truth of the soul. So if you are a king or a queen, you are someone who weighs the truth. You have discernment. You're like the judge things in a righteous way. You don't kind of like impulsively act on your life. You like to weigh your decisions. When you start to weigh your decisions, that shows that you are royalty. Because it's like, kind of like the system. You got to weigh things, you know what I'm saying? So that's very important to understand. All right, so he listened deeply. He understood the difference between intention and outcome. He ruled with clarity, not emotion or ego. He used the father of Ma'at to determine, or my God, the feather of Ma'at to determine one's fate, showing he didn't react impulsively. He evaluated energy, motive, and truth. All right, the king who ruled with dignity. Osiris didn't need to be loud or flashy. His power was felt, not forced. Okay, these are all just king energy. All right, compassionate, not controlling. He didn't dominate. He elevated. All right, his rule wasn't about power over others. It was about bringing life to the land and peace to the soul. He allowed others to have roles and shine. Even after being betrayed and murdered by Osiris, didn't seek revenge. He didn't act from bitterness. Instead, he became the ruler of the spiritual world. Okay, so he's not really like a vengeful person, and that's because he has to make an example. Okay, let's tie it into tarot and elements. If you do tarot, shout out to you. Um, so Pentacles is tied to diamonds, swords is tied to spades, cups is tied to hearts, and wands is tied to clubs. Okay, so yeah, if you're clubs, you're more a fire energy. If you're hearts, you got water energy. If you're spades, you got air energy, and if you're diamonds, you got earth energy. Okay. Like with me being diamonds, I like structure. I'm someone who's big on structure. You feel me? So that's why I even do PowerPoints and stuff like that, because I love structure. I'm not really like I don't like things that's all over the place, and it's just too much chaos or just not structured. I like organized. So definitely see which one you are. Of course, this is not going to be like your astrology chart, but you're gonna have like the elements somewhere in your astrology chart. Okay, like for instance, I'm a Pisces, right? But I do have Earth energy in my chart. So you see, I have a lot of Earth energy. So this is why it's here. You feel me? So this is gonna give you like a realistic version of your natal chart. Cartomancy shows you your career more. It shows you your reality. Astrology kind of shows you the psychology, how you act, how you react to things, how you love. It's more like into relationships and into your psychology, your brain. But this shows you like who you are in reality, like your real life. Like, if there was no spirituality, who would you be? Okay. So look at this as like the most realistic version of life. Okay. All right, so these are some kings. We're gonna scroll through the kings. Allow you guys to just look at them. You know what I'm saying? King of clubs, king of diamonds. All right. King of diamonds is, it refers to a rich man who can have a role in the life of current, power, a wealthy individual, mature man, respected, powerful. Okay. King of clubs, it presents a mature man. A mature man, his intentions are good and he will bring support to current patriarchal figure. It brings comfort, protects from negative aspects of other cards. Okay. So that's just some of the kings. Let's get to the other kings. King of spades, king of hearts. Okay. Queen of hearts, queen of spades. Okay. Yeah, queen of clubs, queen of diamonds. Yeah, my ex was a queen of clubs, bro. Man, that was not easy for some reason. You got a king and a queen connection. That's not easy, bro. But then that's easy. That's not easy. Yeah, jacks. All right. Your jack of diamonds, jack of hearts. Let's pause this real quick. Okay. You got jack of spades. I couldn't find the other jack card for some reason, but like again, this is like, you know what I'm saying? The zodiac sign is connected with. You feel me? All right, so this is what you gotta understand about kings. All kings are associated with 13. So like how I was telling y'all, you know what I'm saying? Kings are usually the most sympathetic and understanding people. Okay, so like they're good people. Like when they evolve, you gotta understand like they had to earn their way through lots of lives to really be like nothing. You know what I'm saying? So they had to learn how to be noble. You can't be a king or queen without nobility. I'm not saying everybody who's a king or queen or jack isn't like isn't imperfect. They still are imperfect. You know, we all are imperfect. We're all students of life, but kings have like these nobility about them. When if they are faced with adversity, they're not gonna like go to the other side and they're gonna stay noble. They're gonna do their best to they're making a good example. Like a good example, if somebody tries to come for a king or queen, they try to gossip about them and slander them, try to beef online. A king or queen is most likely just gonna stay in their lane and make a good example and not entertain it and just still love the person. That's a king or queen energy. Okay, so they're very understanding. Doesn't mean they're soft. They just know that their energy and their presence is a lot. So why would they give the person what they want by continuing to go back and forth in beef? That's like being drawn into a beef. They're not that dumb. You know what I'm saying? So they know their worth, they know their value, they know their power. So they know subconsciously that power depends upon cooperation. Whatever life they lead, their best work is done in partnership. All right. So they always have this sense of authority, but it seldom leads to domination. Okay. Life is short. Just love on yourself, learn about yourself and your archetype, and play your role to activate universal blessings. You got this. You are that. Okay, family. So you got this. You got this. All right. Learn about yourself, love on yourself. You know what I'm saying? All right. For more archetype videos, let's get 1,000 likes for part 2. All right, let's get 1,000 likes. Let's get 1,000 likes. I love y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all resonate with this type of content, like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, you already know. This channel ain't for you. Feel me? You don't want to know. We don't want to learn about yourself. I understand. You know what I'm saying? I still love you. You know what I'm saying? I still love you. You know what I'm saying? But like, comment, subscribe, family. You guys want on part 2? Let's get it.